Hello everyone, the Skilled Roy here with another Legends of Runeterra video. Call of the Mountain has been going on for a little while now, and people are excited to see some new cards soon. Thankfully, just today, Japanese Legends of Runeterra Twitter posted this trailer. So, what does this trailer say? A translation of the end card here says Monuments of Strength, a new Legends of Runeterra expansion coming on October 15th, which is only 2 weeks away and lines up perfectly with her patch schedule. So if you remember recently, I just did a video talking about which champions we'd be receiving in this expansion: Shyvana, Tahm Kench, Soraka. Now immediately, these lights appear at the end have nothing to do with these champions. Instead, these lights are highlighting key areas in Runeterra. In the video, they show us Heimerdinger's Academy in PZ, they also show us the battlegrounds of ARAM in League of Legends, the Howling Abyss, and they also show us the Direlict Tower in SI, or at least as what I've been heard it's being referred to. Now, it's really cool that we're getting structures and locations in the game. It reminds me of a lot like Yu-Gi-Oh's field cards, if you guys remember those. This might be a bit too old of a reference, but one thing I really loved about Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was the Elemental Heroes field spell Skyscraper. It gave them this super powerful attack buff whenever they attacked, and maybe we could see some of these locations end up being sort of like versions of this in Runeterra. In the video, we see the Howling Abyss, of course. Now, the Howling Abyss is en route to Lysandra Citadel in the lore, so maybe it might have some subtle references to what we might expect from Lysandra in the future. I have to assume that Heimerdinger's Academy will, of course, have synergy with himself. And the SI one, I'm kind of lost. I don't really know the significance of this tower in the lore, unfortunately. I'm terribly sorry for those of you who might know it. I guess maybe Thresh synergy, because I don't really know any other person, maybe. Now, that's not all, because we also get the same light shining on Noxus, Bilgewater, and Targon. Given that the title of the expansion is called Monuments of Power, I think it's likely to assume that these are going to be all iconic and important places in Runeterra. I think these lights likely mean that we're going to be getting locations from these places as well. So let's think of some key locations in each of these regions. Noxus is pretty easy. First and foremost, their best bet, I think, is Immortal Bastion. This is where Mordekaiser is, and the light is clearly shining from Noxus Prime, which is right where the Immortal Bastion is. I think it's literally perfect. It's a #1 building I can realistically name here. Now, some other options, of course, include the Scion statue before he came to life, and also LOR tends to have these thing where it constantly does earlier versions of champions in lore, but from a non-lore champion perspective. So for example, Yone, Senna, and Pantheon all appeared in the expansions, but not as champions, but as what they were previously. Of course, finally, another option is the Noxian Reckoner Arena. Seeing as Riven's fate in lore currently is her ending up at the Colosseum to fight Draven, we see this in the Awakened cinematic, it's possible she'll end up here because she'll be this card will be a precursor for her arrival in December. Next up, we have Bilgewater, and this one admittedly was pretty hard for me. When I think of Monuments of Power, I think of boats in Bilgewater more than I think of any particular monument in Bilgewater. The best one I think off the top of my head is probably the Temple of Nagakeboros. This could be an early sort of reference to Alawi and sort of foretell what she might be like in the future. Another option, of course, is the Butcher's Bridge, where it was basically an event-specific ARAM map that replaced the Howling Abyss for a bit in regular League of Legends. It might be a cute reference to include both of them, since the Howling Abyss was also included for Freljord. And lastly, the only other place I can really think of specific note is the Slaughter Docks, which are actually already referenced in the game, with the in-game Bilgewater board being named after it. Then finally, we are at Targon. The most obvious one, of course, is the summit of which the Arbiter protects, and we can even see Taric looking up at it during the main menu screen. Now also, there's also the Solari Temples, which could also be used as some sort of payoff for the Daybreak cards we've seen thus far. I'm actually kind of thinking they might use the Spring of Stellacorns that was revealed in the story trailer. If you don't remember, in the story trailer, we had the card Starshaper taking up a Stellacorn up the mountain and eventually making it to the spring where a bunch of Stellacorns were all there. Seeing as the Star Shepherd and the Stellacorn took a large portion of this trailer up, I feel like this is a pretty good opportunity to sort of reference this location as a sort of callback to the original launch trailer. It's also worth mentioning that the peak has already been shown on the Arbiter of the Peak, and it feels kind of weird that they would include Arbiter of the Peak if he wasn't with the Peak card. But otherwise, though, I think that's gonna be it for me. Those are all the sort of location ideas I had from this initial trailer. I'll be sure to review and talk about each of these cards as they come out. I'll likely be streaming my reaction to each of these at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/theskilledroy, and of course I'll be making new content each and every day, just sort of in leading up to the new expansion. Speaking of which, we're probably getting more information on the expansion soon, seeing as the expansion comes out in just under 2 weeks. That means that spoilers have to start soon, and we'll be getting images of the new cards very shortly. But until then, thank you so much everyone for watching. I would appreciate a like, a comment, a subscribe if you're feeling so generous. It really helps out small content creators like myself. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm sorry, you know I gotta do it. But otherwise though, thank you so much again. I will see you guys next time. Peace out.